All right. We'll call this regular school board meeting for Thursday, April 25th, 2024 to order. First, we have a review of the agenda. Has anyone got any changes or comments? Okay. Next, if you'll all stand and join us with the Pledge of Allegiance. Director Aparicio, do you want to go over the mission, vision, and value statements?
I can. All right. Our mission statement: educating each student to the highest standards while motivating them to reach their fullest potential and graduating them to be college, career, and life ready. Our vision statement: our schools are a place where children belong. Each student is known by name, strength, and need, and provided the education and opportunities to achieve success. And lastly, our values: striving for equity, inclusion, and belonging, celebrating diversity, engaging the community, supporting the whole child, and promoting and achieving academic excellence.
Thank you, Director Aparicio. Next, we have the consent agenda, which includes the school board minutes from the previous meeting and personnel report. Any comments or notes on that? If not, I'll accept the motion to accept it.
Chair, I'll move to accept the consent agenda as presented.
All right, motion by Director Richardson, seconded by Director Lopez. All in favor say aye. Opposed say nay. Any abstain? Ayes have it, motion passes. All right, next up we have the board action calendar review. Got any comments on that?
Did we move the retreat to June?
Yes.
Okay. So we'll see.
Working on dates.
Proposed dates. Okay.
Anything else? With none, then we'll move on. We don't have the student representatives tonight, so we'll move on to building student representative reports. We'll start with the high school with Miette Winwood.
Okay, good evening. My name is Miette Winwood. I'm a senior at the Dallas High School, and I'm the current ASB Executive President. Today, I have with me Riley Elliott, who is as of today's ASB election, came out to be the 2024 to 2025 school board rep. After today, she'll be taking over the school board meetings. We are more than halfway through our trimester, and spring sports are coming to an end, so here's a little bit of a wrap-up for this trimester. Sports. The track season is going well. It is wrapping up as of May 10th with varsity districts. We look forward to seeing improvement, PRs, and state qualifications. Baseball is 7th in the state and 2nd in the district. They are against Estacada at Quinton Street Ballpark tonight. Softball is 2nd in the state and 1st in the district. They are playing at Estacada tonight. Both girls and boys golf has been going well, and they are preparing for districts on May 6th. Girls tennis play Monday, and both teams, and boys tennis also played Monday, and both teams did well. Leadership class has planned a blood drive that is coming up on April 30th. It will be throughout the whole school day, and students have signed up to donate blood. So I think it's just 3 signups. ASB elections for next year have been happening all month, and today's TDHS students voted. We're all super excited. Oh, well, actually, before I get into that, I'll announce who everybody is. So, the 2024 to 2025 ASB officers. Our ASB president is Alexa Bustos. ASB vice president, Sofia Hernandez. No secretary at the moment, but our treasurer is Jamie Bastian Palacios. School board representative is Riley Elliott. And our public relations officer is Kylie Jepson. For the senior class, president is Zoran Carpenter. Vice president, Jessica Anuntes Garza. No secretary yet. And our treasurer is Jael Leos. Juniors, president is Kim Morales. Vice president is Rakaya Notbaum. Secretary is Elliot Winwood, and there's no treasurer right now. And then sophomores, President Liliana Rivas, Vice President Oliver Stevens, Secretary Molly Proctor, Treasurer Adam Shaw, and Representative is Audrey Sheeran. Freshman Council is going to start next week. We're going to go to the middle schools and start advertising that, and those will be announced on May 17th. So we're excited to see what everyone will do next year and what they have to offer and to get things going. It'll be really fun. Conferences are next week on May 1st and 2nd. On the 1st, there will be a meeting for incoming freshman families to get them ready for high school. And on the 2nd, there will be meetings for 10th and 11th graders to explore opportunities such as expanded options and dual enrollment. And actually by 10th and 11th graders, I mean 9th and 10th and 11th next year. And then prom is next Saturday, May 4th, and the theme is An Evening in Paris. It will be at the Discovery Center, and everyone is super excited. Thank you. Have a nice evening.
All right, thank you.
I just have one thing to add. I noticed that the Dalles High Marching Band won first place in the Cherry Festival Parade this weekend, so congratulations to the Dalles High School Marching Band.
Okay, thank you. Next up, we have Innovations Academy, Landon Munson, Eleanor Young, and Riley Stocks.
We have a busy end of the school year coming up with lots of events planned for our student body.
In addition to the middle school dance that we are planning, we are also planning a high school dance for the innovation students.
We have an end of the school year field trip planned for our senior class who are going to Bullwinkle's and the 7th and 8th graders who are going to Top Golf.
We mentioned the planning of a beautification day for the end of the school year. We are in process of planning that.
We are in the works of planning a senior barbecue for the seniors to attend before their graduation. That will happen on May 30th.
Finally, we are excited for the Innovation Seniors graduation occurring on Friday, May 31st in the 8th grade, promotion ceremony occurring on Wednesday, June 5th.
At the end of trimester 2, we had a student versus staff kickball game and the students won.
Juniors and seniors had a career fair in Portland. They've got good information and had a fun time.
My name is Landon Munson. I'm a junior at Innovations Virtual Academy. I'm excited to be here to represent IVA. I really enjoy IVA as an alternative to public school. I've enjoyed being able to do schoolwork on a more flexible schedule with the same opportunities. Innovations Virtual Academy is forging a path in education for all of our students' individual needs. This trimester, we are focused on a sense of belonging and creating a dynamic and flexible options. This month, our virtual school reached the milestone of tripling the enrollment from the start of the year. Elementary news. In the elementary program, live sessions are now offered Monday through Thursday as a way for students to connect in a safe and engaging virtual environment. These Google Meet sessions include icebreaker games for community building, opportunities for students to get help in real time, goal setting, and soft skills development. The K-5 is dedicated to student well-being, school belonging, and student engagement. Elementary students have attendance of great virtual field trips with the teacher, such as the Giza Pyramids, the Roman Colosseum, zoos, and aquariums. We had our first monthly Principal in the Park event, where students and families can come together to meet and share experiences. Secondary news. The secondary school at IVA has had 2 virtual assemblies to build school spirit this trimester. The first was an awards assembly, and the second was to talk about forecasting classes for next year. We are excited that several of our 8th grade students have taken advantage of the opportunity to begin high school classes. We have IVA 8th graders enrolled in high school English, math, health, and elective classes this trimester. 12 seniors have graduated early. We are excited to celebrate with all graduates on May 31st.
All right, thank you. All right, next up, we have the Dalles Middle School, Nathan Corson.
Unfortunately, Nathan could not be here tonight. But good evening, everyone. My name is Sabrina Nemick, and this is Cassie Staley. We are the ASB co-advisors at the Dalles Middle School. Lately, we have had lots of exciting events go on, and we can't wait to share what our students have written to share with you.
Recently, we had a school-wide talent show, and it turned out to be fantastic. We had a lot of brave middle schoolers come out and perform their talents. First place was Yupili Iwaluwalu. He performed Can't Help Falling in Love, a brave 6th grader. Definitely moved a lot in the audience. Second place was River Polito. He was singing and playing his guitar to Intro by Junior H. And then we had Chen Lu. He won 3rd place, and he solved 2 Rubik's Cubes in 56 seconds. So wonderful talents by these incredible middle school students. We plan to do this again in the future. This was year 2 of talent show.
On April 16th, our 7th graders had a fun field trip just downtown. They called it a mural walk, as they went from mural to mural downtown, learning the history behind each one. It was a fun experience for them to have and a good time, while also learning the history of the Dalles.
On April 20th at the Cherry Festival, our 8th grade students held a car wash to raise money for their end of the year field trip. Overall, the car wash was a success. Thank you to all who came out and supported them. They made over $600 to fund their end of the year field trip. Now, they haven't met their overall goal yet, but they are getting closer thanks to all of you. The 8th grade students had fun at the event while also working hard to earn their money. Keep up the hard work, 8th grade Wildcats.
Next month, the 6th graders get to go to outdoor school. They will go to Camp Tamarack on May 6th or May 8th, depending on what house they are in. There, they will learn the science of trees, learn how to canoe, and have a once-in-a-lifetime experience. This is our first class of 6th graders since quarantine that get to do an overnight camp. We wish them the best on their adventure.
And our ASB students wanted to shout out our administrative professionals. It was Administrative Professionals Day on Wednesday. So they want to shout out Miss Viola, Miss Priscilla, and Miss Lorena. They say that they are always there to support every student, are always willing to help anybody that steps foot into those offices. So we really appreciate these ladies and all they do for TDMS.
Since it is springtime, track has finally started. Our athletes have been dominating the track scene since the second they stepped foot on it. TDMS girls placed first in events for one of their recent track meets, and we are ready for the season to continue. Go Wildcats!
All right, board members, we want to invite you to our 2nd annual Spring Carnival. It's coming up Thursday, May 16th. Last year, it was a huge success. We had almost 1,000 people show up. So we decided to keep the tradition going. We're going to have fun games, lots of food, entertainment, and a lot of our talent show contestants have volunteered to perform at that event. So come on out. You'll see these kids show off their talents. We'll have a lot of fun booths. It'll be fun for the whole family. Yeah, make sure to come on by.
Thank you for all your support and time, and have a good night.
Thank you. Next up from Chenoweth Elementary, Paola Ornillas and Camilla Barajas Valdenovinas.
Hola, soy Paola.
Hello, I am Camila.
Queremos comenzar agradeciendo a los estudiantes de TDHS por venir a Chenoweth el lunes pasado y liderar todo tipo de actividades divertidas del Día de la Tierra. La pintura de cara estuvo bastante bien. Muchos padres de Chenoweth también vinieron y cortaron montañas de fruta para refugio saludable.
We want to start by giving TDHS students a shout out for coming to Chenoweth this past Monday and leading all kinds of fun Earth Day activities. The Earth Day painting was the face painting was pretty great. A lot of Chenoweth parents also showed up and cut mountains of fruit for a healthy snack.
El tema de este mes es la valentía. Sabemos que enfrentaremos desafíos en la vida, pero la única manera de mejorar es de intentándolo incluso cuando las cosas son difíciles.
This month's theme is courage. We know we will face challenges in life, but the only way we can get better is by trying, even when things are hard.
ASB está desafiando a toda nuestra escuela a un desafío de monedas. El grado que genera la mayor cantidad de cambios puede pintar una camisa para que la use el señor Randall y su cara. Con el dinero que recaudamos, alquilamos un carro de obstáculos para la día de campo. El último día de clases, dependiendo la canto, planearemos algo más divertido para toda la escuela. Si tienen algún cambio, por favor, póngala en nuestra caja de quinto grado porque no tenemos mucho.
ASB is challenging our entire school to a coin challenge. The grade who brings in the most change will get to paint a shirt for Mr. Rendell to wear and his face. With the money we raise, we will rent a blow-up obstacle course for field day on the last day of school. Depending on how much we raise, we will plan something else fun for the entire school. If you have any change, please put it in our 5th grade bucket because we don't have much.
Nuestras familias de DLI tuvieron una gran participación en la desfile del Festival de Cereza. Nuestro personal de SLC también vinieron lindas sudaderas y camisetas que celebran la inclusión de Chenoweth.
Our DLI families had a huge turnout walking in the Cherry Festival parade. Our SLC staff also sold cute sweatshirts and t-shirts celebrating inclusion at Chenoweth.
Tenemos muchas excursiones divertidas por venir. Los estudiantes de quinto grado irán al CGCC para ver cómo se construye nuestro nuevo patio de juegos. También iremos pronto a la escuela secundaria para el día de Step Up y la piscina el 4 de junio.
We have a lot of fun field trips coming up. 5th graders are going to CGCC to see our new playground being built. We also go to the middle school soon for Step Up Day and to the pool on June 4th.
Nuestro chiste del día es ¿por qué se fue el Tamar al hospital?
¿Por qué?
Tamalito.
Our joke of the day is, why did the strawberry cry?
Why?
Because he found himself in a jam.
Te invitamos a comer en Burgerville el 9 de mayo para recaudar fondos para nuestro Chenoweth Booster Club y celebrar a nuestros maestros durante la semana de agradecimiento a los maestros. Nuestra noche familiar de primavera es la 16 de mayo a 5 a 7 p.m. Disfruta de comida, actividades STEM y socios comunitarios.
We invite you to eat at Burgerville on May 9th to raise money for our Chenoweth Booster Club and celebrate our teachers during Teacher Appreciation Week. Our Spring Family Night is May 16th from 5 to 7 p.m. Enjoy food, STEM activities, and community partners.
Esto es todo de Chenoweth y tenemos una sorpresa para ustedes la próxima reunión.
That's all for Chenoweth. We have a surprise for you at the next meeting. And as we say every day at school,
Y como decimos todos los días en la escuela,
together we are better. Juntos somos mejores.
All right, thank you. Next, from Dry Hollow Elementary, we have Jackson Timmer and Lydia Leducer.
Well, it's me and Charlie today, so thank you. Good evening, District 21 board members, administration, and community. Thank you for giving us the opportunity to speak to you tonight about all the cool stuff going on at Dry Hollow this past month.
At the beginning of April, we had our Word of the Month assembly in the gym. This month, the word is compassion. Mr. Kaiser's class hosted the assembly. Having compassion for someone means having concerns for those who might be suffering. Hopefully, all of you show compassion to your loved ones, right?
We would like to wish Miss Miller a happy administration Professionals Day. The Dry Hollow Elementary halls have been a little quieter than usual this month. I think it's because the 3rd through 5th graders have been state testing in reading and in math. Either that or something strange is going on in the neighborhood, and it's time to call Ghostbusters.
The Dry Hollow Student Council is currently selling spencils, which are scented pencils, to try and raise enough money to buy the new Viking sign for the reader board. The old sign is faded and is in very bad shape, as you may have noticed. You can hardly see the Viking on it or the lettering. The pencils are selling like hotcakes. Maybe we should be selling hotcakes. What do you think, Lydia?
No. The Dry Hollow PTA held the annual Dry Hollow Jogathon last Friday. Students spent their specials running laps around the track. Several of them raised quite a few bucks for a school. We can't tell you how much the Jogathon brought in because we understand the school district might be short on cash. You know how it is. Whenever you have money, someone wants to borrow it. Let's just say we made a few dollars.
The Dry Hollow Student Council held a pet photo contest during the first 2 weeks of April. It was unbelievable how many pictures parents and students entered in the contest. There were several categories for students to enter their pets in. There was top dog, top cat, cutest kitty, cutest puppy, and strangest pet, to name just a few of the categories. It was a huge success. The winning students got a medal, a ribbon, and a cool cat in the hat pin.
This Friday, that's tomorrow after school, we'll have a sock hop through the 3rd through 5th grade students. It should be a lot of fun. There's going to be a limbo contest, a hula hoop contest, and many other fun activities at the dance for the students to participate in while at the hop.
The Dry Hollow Student Council held a conservation poster contest for the 2nd graders during Earth Week. Several second graders entered in the contest. The Student Council judged the posters. The winning poster was made by Isabella from Mrs. Hollister's class. she will get a $20 Fred Meyer gift certificate. We also wanted to show you her poster, so here it is, along with the second and third place winners. Emmanuel won second place, and he will get a $15 Fred Meyer gift card. And third place winner, Olivia, will get a $10 Dairy Queen card.
This one is third. This coming Tuesday, April 30th, the students at Dry Hollow will be having their Poetry Slam contest. Miss Wonder Woman, Corey, oversees the event. One person will be picked as the #1 Dry Hollow poet for the 2024 through 2025 school year. Here's Everett, who would like to share the poem he wrote for the slam.
The name of my poem is called Trains. This poem was inspired by The Red Wheelbarrow by William Carlos Williams. So much depends upon fast and cool trains, supplying cities with goods for people every day.
Thank you, Everett.
Many more things have been happening at our school. Mr. Paul has started a fly tying class each Thursday. Several students thought they were going to learn how to catch and tie up flies, but Mr. Paul had them make some cool fishing flies instead. The walking school bus operates each Tuesday. Last week, 10 students got on board along with Principal Lloyd for the trip to Dry Hollow. It was a good thing they didn't run out of gas, if you know what I mean. Before they got to Dry Hollow, that hill was and is a killer.
One of the Dry Hollow's wonderful retired teachers, Miss Anala, is working on art projects with the third graders from Miss Burleson's class. The kids are doing great art projects. It's just like having an artist in residence without having to pay for it. She does such a great job. That just about wraps up our April board report. But before we go, here's a joke for you. A man goes to a doctor to lose weight. The doctor says, to lose weight, walk 5 miles a day for 2 weeks, and then give me a call. The man says okay, and 2 weeks later, the man calls up the doctor. The doctor says, how are we doing? The man replies, I'm doing great, but I'm 70 miles away from home. Have a nice evening. Don't forget to brush your teeth before you go to bed.
Remember not to drink too much water before bedtime.
And be safe, respectful, kind, and responsible. Jackson and I will see you in May.
Thank you. Next, we have Colonel Wright, Faith Miramontes, and Hattie Harris.
Hello, board members. My name is Faith Miramontes, and I'm a 5th grader at Colonel Wright.
Hi, my name is Hattie Harris. I'm a 4th grader at Colonel Wright.
Our PTO hosted a jogathon fundraiser last month. We raised $4,724. All of this money will help us build a new sunshade for our playground.
The teacher lounge is still in construction at Colonel Wright Elementary School. It is closed from entry from the library. The librarians have a new desk in the library. I asked Mr. Vieira why there are bite marks in the documents pasted under the plastic on top of the wood. He says he gets hungry sometimes. That's funny.
We currently have our 3rd, 4th, and 5th graders doing state testing. I think I can speak for all of us when I say we are doing our best and can't wait for testing to end.
The first grade zoo trip happened on the 19th from 8:30 to 4:30. I'm glad they did not take a test. There are too many cheetahs. Thank you, parents, for volunteering.
Colonel Wright had its first earthquake drill on the year this month, and it did not shake us down. That's surprising because our school is 100 years old.
The Lions Club sponsored free dentist checkups for kids. It's where the dentist comes and puts yucky fluoride in your mouth. But thank you for cleaning our teeth.
This Friday, our second grade class will be going on a field trip to the Fort Dalles Museum. I still remember that field trip, and it was my favorite field trip overall.
Miss Harwood started the club for Colonel Wright Pioneers. In this club, we learned to play marimbas. Marimbas are fun for kids who have creativity with music. In May, we will travel around town and perform for the community. By the way, why did the music teacher need a ladder to reach the high notes?
On April 26th, our art club will be heading to the art museum. We are checking out their new garden exhibit, and they have a fun activity planned for us. Thank you, the Dalles Art Museum, for this opportunity.
Kinder Open House will take place on the 29th of May. Mark your calendars.
Thank you, board members, for allowing me to be here this year. Public speaking can be very scary. Yes, I stumble over my words and my voice shakes a little bit, but that's okay. Each month I've been here, I've gotten better. I've learned to be more confident, more articulate, and more me. Thank you, board members, for this opportunity.
Same.
All right, thank you for that. Next, we have staff reports, D21 Education Association representative and North Wasco Education Support Professional representatives.
Good evening, Dr. Bernal, North Wasco County School District Board of Directors, members of the audience, present in body and via the Zoom. My name is Sylvia Brock, and that is Sonia over there. We are the co-presidents of the NWESP, which represent the classified staff at our district, including Mosier Community School also. And this is Jody Ketchum. She's the president of D21 Education Association, which represents the licensed staff of our district, including Mosier also. We will be giving a joint report tonight for both unions. First off, we want to thank our fellow union members. 120 of them are here tonight. Thank you for coming and supporting. We have several family members who came and supported us, community members for coming and supporting each of us in this advocacy for continuing to better our schools, having safe schools for all, and to support our administrators, our teachers, and ESPs in their efforts. As many of you know, the district has some issues that we need to address. We have brought them up to you many times, yet they remain unresolved. Our middle school administrator continues to be harassed and threatened. His philosophy of holding students responsible and accountable does not seem to be supported by our school board or our administration. The district has spent thousands and thousands of dollars on investigations that has shown no findings.
Chair, I wish to remind the speaker about the parameters of our policy for public speaking and report. We would appreciate you to follow that policy. Thank you, Chair.
I think we are. I want you to know that 90% of the staff approve of his administration. I know these things are hard to hear, but we want you to know we support these things and they're important to us. Our classroom behaviors are still a serious issue. Lack of consistency, expectation, consequences have resulted in an extreme, difficult learning environment. Many children are finding it difficult to learn. Students and teachers are getting punched, hit, kicked. Students are allowed to wander around the rooms, halls, campuses, and interfere with learning. We have asked, and we will continue to ask, for your support with these issues. Please listen to us.
As many of you know, this district, like many other districts across the nation and in Oregon, are facing an economic challenge. This problem was not created by our staff. It was created by our district leadership not heeding the warnings of our CFO and a lack of funding from the state. We were all told by our previous CFO and our bargaining last year and at every budget report that we were headed off of a cliff. We hoped that more would have been done to heed that advice. Yet here we are in a financial crisis, and in our opinion, and what has been done in the past, the first step would be for the district to come to both union leaders with facts of the financial situation, and then allow us to come to the table and negotiate fairly in a collaborative, problem-solving way, as we have done. Instead of the district coming to us with this issue, we were served with a letter that stated that they would be opening bargaining in a manner that would violate our bargaining rights. We were told verbally what 3 things they wanted to impose on us. And with this form of bargaining, after 90 days, if we did not reach a mutual agreement, they could impose cuts to our contract. Both unions responded with a letter that we would not like to bargain in that way, and that we were willing to open bargaining in our usual manner and willing to start very soon. We were served with another letter that stated we had missed our 14-day period to respond, and that we waived our rights to bargain, and they could unilaterally change the terms of salary, insurance benefits, and other costs of our negotiated agreement. We categorically reject the district's attempt to take away our bargaining rights. The district is being really aggressive and trying to box us in and not give us our rights. This will not work. As you see, our members are here saying we will not stand for this. We are here to implore the district to operate in a transparent manner with us, as they have in the past few years. Our previous CFO was quick to get us any information we requested and would always sit with us, walk us through any documents, and answer all of the questions we had. We want to collaborate with the district bargaining team. We want them to hear what our members have to say and consider their ideas. This form of good faith bargaining is not only lawful, it strengthens our relationships. The attempt on the district's behalf since April 1st to verbally inform us of what they wanted to impose, then serve us with the letters about taking away our rights, has severely damaged trust. It has left the employees of this district feeling like they do not matter, they are not important, and they do not deserve respect. This is not okay. All teachers and the SP staff set examples daily for our students of how to get along, how to compromise. They do not act as a dictator and tell students they may not have a voice, they may sit back and take whatever we say. So I ask you all, why does the district bargaining team think that this kind of behavior is acceptable? We ask that the district team stop the madness, be transparent and honest, respond to our requests to bargain in good faith, and truly hear our ideas, consider them. Let us be a part of the equation to come up with solutions to our financial crisis that has the least impact on students and our lowest paid employees who desperately needed pay raises this year, not pay cuts. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Does anyone have any questions? Does anyone have any questions? Okay, if not, we'll move on to school board subcommittee reports. Scholarship Committee, Director Winillage.
Yeah, just a reminder that April 30th is the scholarship night at 7 p.m. at the high school.
Thank you. Community Outreach Team, Director Aparicio.
I was unable to attend due to a work conflict, so no update.
Thank you. Wellness Committee, Director Richardson.
There's no wellness committee for this meeting.
Equity Committee, Director Winillage.
May is our final meeting of this year, and we're planning to wrap up some of our ideas that we plan to start implementing the next school year.
All right, thank you. Wasco County Forest Collaborative, Director Nelson.
Yep, I have a report. So the primary topic that the collaborative learned about and discussed was on the importance of the Lewis woodpecker. There's been a 50 to 60% range decline between 1968 and 2019. This bird's found all over the United States, but the only place where they're found to have a year-round breeding season is in our neck of the woods. There are 2 study sites in Oregon, the White River Wildlife Area and Wasco County, and the Deschutes National Forest in Deschutes County. At the White River Wildlife Area in Wasco County, there's no need for the woodpecker to migrate. This allows the bird to establish itself here and saves a great amount of energy for the bird to do other activities besides migrate in order to breed. It finds everything it needs to flourish year-round at this site, the only one in the country. It finds everything, the Lewis woodpecker feeds off of aerial insects. It's a cavity nester which uses burn snag cavities, and they're specialists in that they prefer a specific quality of burned areas. This bird is a federal species of conservation concern and a top priority species in the Columbia Plateau and East Cascades ecoregion. Because of climate change, wildfire patterns and intensity are changing, and this affects the habitats of the woodpecker. The study analyzes the post-fire habitat characteristics versus breeding abundance. The qualities most critical to the woodpecker are snag size and density, canopy cover, and spatial configuration of the burn severity. Optimal conditions are that snag densities and size are 40 to 60 snags per hectare, a canopy cover which is less complex and has fewer live trees, and areas with newer burns less than 7 years old, with smaller patches of high severity fires. So the frequency with which we have wildfire in this area, they actually depend on. The study involves a new superior way to track the activities of these birds, including migration patterns and behaviors. The birds are tracked by the use of miniature tracking systems implanted on the birds. They can be so small as to give us the ability to track birds, bats, and even insects. Imagine something that tiny being implanted, like an insect, an ant. Only two components are needed: tags and mobile towers. This system doesn't have the limitations that other systems have. There's no need to recapture the bird after implanting a tracking device. It can track long distances and migratory movement. It has low investment costs in the field beyond the initial tagging and tower installs. The process is collaborative across a range of species, and scientists can work together across state lines or even countries to install the towers and track migration. The types of towers vary from collated towers with power and internet to temporary pop-up stations in remote areas. The White River Wildlife Area stations are located at Smock Prairie and Postage Stamp Butte. So by studying these birds, we can analyze the impact on the environment that the changing nature of wildfires have on this woodpecker and other species of animals in our national forests and beyond. That's the conclusion of my report.
All right, thank you. Next up, we have OSBA Legislative Policy Committee, Director Richardson.
Thanks, Chair. The LPC spent 2 days going over really a focus on school state funding with the intention of helping us learn how we can advocate for state funding from our representatives. And I think before I get into the details of my report, I want to unequivocally state the depth of my gratitude for teachers and staff in this district. I'm a graduate of D21. My husband's a graduate of D21. Our daughter was a graduate of D21. I cannot repay the depth of gratitude and appreciation I have for individual teachers as well as teachers collectively. And I won't speak for the board, but I can easily say that this sentiment is likely unanimous across the board. That being said, we welcome collaboration to figure out how to bridge the gap in funding. The LPC met April the 20th. In 2009-11, 39% of the Oregon's overall tax revenue was dedicated to funding K-12 public schools, but in 23-25, it's only 30.2%. We talked about the average teacher salaries and how they vary across the state. There's quite a variance between the minimum district average and the maximum district average. And we reviewed 10 districts where the gap between the relative cost of living and the relative average salary ranges from 24 to 47%. That's 10 districts that I'm glad we're not part of. We did review what districts typically do if budgets for staffing cannot be met, and there were a number of things that they reviewed, including increased class sizes, remove or reduce elective courses, discontinue extracurricular programs, defer maintenance of capital infrastructure, defer curricular adoptions, and as a last option, release instructional staff with whom they can no longer afford. And I'm thankful that we're not in some of those districts that are resorting to the last option in dire need. That's the end of my report.
All right, thank you. Next up, D21 Education Foundation, Director Nelson.
Yes, so on the 23rd, we met, and for the sake of brevity, I'd just like to share one topic that intrigued me at this meeting. Our executive director, Rebecca Thistlethwaite, is thinking about applying for the community impact grants offered by Google to address a more permanent way of funding over time for the mini grants that we offer each year to the teachers in our district. There's a need to retooling of our mini grants program. We have two needs: securing a bigger pot of funds for mini grants that offer $300 or less for basic supplies. There's an increase in demand for these classroom need funds due to supply cuts to our budget district-wide of 10%. We have another need to provide grants of a larger amount that offer $1,000 to $1,500 for more innovative creative requests and field trips. Applying and securing grants that provide $6,000 or more per round for several years into the future would be the ask. One more piece of news is that our foundation reviewed and approved $125,000 worth of scholarships to graduating seniors. They will be awarded at the award ceremony on April 30th at 7 o'clock in the evening. That's my report.
Right, thank you. Next up, we have new business. We have the statement on the superintendent evaluation. The Board of Directors of North Wasco School District has completed the annual evaluation of Superintendent Carolyn Bernal for 23-24. The majority of the board members have served 1 or more years and have been able to be part of the challenges and successes each year. The evaluation process included 2 data sources: the Superintendent Carolyn Bernal's self-evaluation and the board's direct observation experiences with Superintendent Carolyn Bernal. The Board of Directors speaks with one voice and provides one evaluation for the superintendent. This year's evaluation focused on 8 professional standards of performance for superintendents and 3 superintendent goals. This is the 3rd evaluation for Dr. Bernal the board has completed, and notes responsiveness and growth in several domains over her year 2 evaluation. Regarding the right professional standards, we determined that Superintendent Bernal's performance was accomplished in the areas of visionary district leadership, ethics and professional norms, and policy and government advocacy. Policy, governance, and advocacy. We determined that Superintendent Bernal's performance was effective in the areas of inclusive district culture, culturally responsive instructional leadership and improvement, communications and community relations, effective organizational management, effective financial management. Overall, the board's evaluation found that the performance of Superintendent Bernal on 8 professional standards was effective. The board also determined that Superintendent Bernal has done an effective job of working towards the North Wasco County School District 2023-25 Integrated Guidance Plan, LPGTs, monitoring and supporting the North Wasco County School District 2027 Strategic Plan and the 23-24 priorities, and working collaboratively with the board to update and sign the Superintendent Board Operating Agreement. The board will be working with Superintendent Bernal over the next several months to develop new goals for the district, and we look forward to working together to continue making the district successful. Next up, we have the direction on a formal complaint dated February 16th, 2024.
Chair, I'll make a motion. In response to a complaint filed with the district on February 16th, 2024, I make a motion to direct staff to review policies B, F, C, and IFCA and Administrative Rule IFCA-AR in the context of advice of legal counsel from OSBA and previous comments from the community.
Okay, motion by Director Richardson, seconded by Director Aparicio. All in favor say aye. Opposed say nay. Any abstain? Ayes have it, motion passes. Next up, we have Superintendent's report. Dr. Bernal.
Thank you. I'd like to invite Lizette Mendoza, our Safe Routes to School coordinator, to come up, and she's going to talk to you a little bit about the work we've been doing with our Safe Routes to School grant.
Good evening, Board. My name is Lisette Mendoza Guzman, and I have been the Safe Routes to School coordinator since the beginning of 2024. The program itself had been without someone in the position since September, from what I have understood. And so it's been kind of difficult restarting the program, getting kids involved again. I have actively been weekly walking with the elementary schools, and Colonel Wright is getting on board May. So in May, I'll start the walking school bus with them, but I currently have 44 active participants with Chenoweth Elementary, and I have 9 with Dry Hollow. So I have been getting involved a lot with the classrooms and going and talking about the program and what it consists of. So our goal is mainly to establish and teach kids alternate methods of transportation other than a vehicle or a bus to school. So with that being said, I do have a little video here that we're going to play for you guys. Thank you. Everyone, for those of you that may or may not know me, my name is Lisette. I am Safe Routes to School coordinator with the school district as of early January of this year. So my program consists of teaching the children alternate methods of transportation to school, whether that be walking, biking, a scooter, skateboard, or rollerblading. I'm just here to teach them alternate safe ways to get to school. At this time, I am actively weekly holding walking school buses with the 2 of the elementaries, and I have 44 attendees with Chenoweth Elementary. I have 12 attendees with Dry Hollow, and with Colonel Wright, we are barely getting on board, but I do plan to at least get 20 attendees there. I have came into the school, been able to go into classrooms, connect with the kids, and talk about the program, and hope that soon we can have them on board. Planning for 3 walks with Colonel Wright in the month of May, since we're getting close to the end of the school year. I connect much with Oregon Department of Transportation. I have a few mentors through them. I also get to connect with Hood River District, the Safe Routes to School manager out there. And we have a lot of exciting things happening. Kids get really excited with different methods. I believe it assists the parents as well when they're able to drop off their kids earlier in order to get to work. There's a variety of factors of why the program is amazing to our community and our school district. The children can walk. It assists health-wise, gets the heart going. It's a great way for them to get ready for the day. And I just think that I'm going to be very successful in building a stronger walking community here with us at North Wasco. So far, things have been, for the most part, great. Like I said, I'm just hoping that we can get more participation from the other schools, such as Dry Hollow and Colonel Wright, and in the near future be able to connect more with the middle school and high school as well, so that everybody's involved and aware of the program. I've been working closely with the police officers, the Department of Transportation here, the school buses, and connected with some of the coalition meetings that have been held, listened to concerns, and just recently we took a cycling and pedestrian training, and we wish to pass that along soon to the kids so that we can bike to school after we appropriately train them. And at this time, that is all that we have going. Again, thank you for listening in a little bit about Safe Routes to School program. Again, thank you, and I'm open for questions or comments.
I have a question.
Yes,
So at Chenoweth, when is the day that you do the walking school bus?
Currently, it's Tuesdays at Dry Hollow, Chenoweth is on Wednesdays,
On
and
Wednesday.
Colonel Wright is going to be Thursdays.
Okay, and on Wednesday at Chenoweth, what time?
At 7:10, 7:15, we still wait around till about 7:20, but as of 7:10 to 7:20, we're waiting there for children to arrive.
Okay, thank you.
Absolutely.
I want to join that one.
You come.
Okay.
You ready to dance to some Kids Bop? Any other questions? Thank you. I'll excuse myself.
All right, thank you. Okay, next up, we have the Chief Financial Officer's report. Turn it over to Randy Anderson.
Got it. Good evening. This sitting here wasn't really on my radar a while back, but here we are. My first item I want the board to address is a resolution to create a fund. School boards are the only ones empowered to create or eliminate a fund within our accounting system. There were school buses purchased, actually they're operated out at the Sherman County site, but were financed and the payments have been recorded in the bus replacement fund. You somewhat get the same answer, but debt service belongs in a debt service fund. So I'm asking the board to adopt resolution 232405. I'll continue. Do you want me to continue and you do your business later, or I don't, Mr. Chair?
We'll make the, I'll accept a motion now for that.
I'll move to adopt resolution 232405, resolution to create a fund and make appropriations for bus purchase fund, Fund 305.
Second.
All right, motion by Director Aparicio, seconded by Director Nelson. All in favor say aye. Opposed say nay. Any abstain? Ayes have it, motion passes.
Thank you, board. This will make the uploading of the data to the ODE much smoother. The second action item, and I apologize, it came late in the packet, but there are school buses due to arrive shortly. And I'm proposing that we enter into a similar lease purchase agreement that they used for the 3 buses at Sherman County before. Obviously the interest rate has changed, but the terms are largely the same. The down payment is actually the amount that we'll recoup from the DEQ grant, but you can't use, you have to put enough skin in the game to equal the grant. You can't finance the grant. And this will preserve us $512,000 in cash, or 500. Yeah, 512, 13. The paperwork is in place with the board's approval. We'll be able to complete the purchase. Otherwise, they won't deliver the buses. I apologize for the lateness of bringing the action item to you.
Randy, I have a couple questions.
Certainly.
So this is a lease for 3 years and with the option to buy at the end of the lease?
Frankly, it's a purchase,
Oh,
but the paperwork is termed lease purchase.
Okay.
I think it's termed that way. You could give them back.
Give them back at the end of
But no, it's a 3-year term purchase.
Okay.
With no prepayment penalty.
Okay, and so there's like no mileage penalty if we decide we don't like
No,
these?
it's not like an auto lease.
Not like an auto lease, okay. How about maintenance? Is there like a type of maintenance plan that's built in?
We have 2 mechanics. They'll be in the fleet. We'll take 2 out
it'll
the
be
fleet
taken
so
care
that they're to be here.
Okay.
And so they'll get, actually, they'll get the regular routine and annual inspections, the maintenance that is provided for the rest of the buses.
But it's like, there's some kind of coverage, like the first 100,000 miles? There's like a
frankly, I don't know
warranty?
the details of,
Okay.
what the warranties are. But we've dealt with this company for a number of years.
I know, but that was before my time, so that's kind of why I'm
Yeah, I
asking.
know.
Yeah.
And large repairs, if it were transmission or
Right.
whatever, often we have to take it back to Portland and they fix it.
Okay, so this is kind of like, so we're basically going to be spending about $14,246 a month to cover these 3 buses after we get our discount.
Well, in essence, only it won't, yes, that's the monthly cost.
Okay.
What the school bus replacement fund, where the repayment dollars will come from,
Right.
isn't like, it's different than like the textbook replacement fund or the vehicle replacement
Okay.
fund, in
Okay.
that it is truly a special revenue
Special,
fund.
okay.
We're required to allocate a portion of the state school fund to the bus replacement
Right.
fund
Okay.
that is equal to the amount we received for the depreciation on the whole fleet.
Correct.
And that is adequate to make the payments on, the next 3 payments on the bus.
Okay, okay, great. Thank you very much.
Any other questions, or I'll accept the motion?
I'll move to authorize the district to proceed with a lease purchase financing through Santander Bank for the acquisition of 3 2025 model year 78 passenger school buses.
Okay, motion by Director Nelson, seconded by Director Lopez. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Any abstain? Ayes have it, motion passes.
Thank you, Board. And the financial statements that I presented are similar to the ones in the past. I frankly just prepared them, and I've been working on the budget. So I will customize the reporting to the board's wishes. And we're restructuring some of the funds in that, for instance, the 2 that I just described aren't special revenue funds. They're really just an extension of the general fund. They're reserved by the board. So I think we'll end up with fewer columns and I hope more readability, more clarity on what's going on. If we need more detail, we got more detail. But I think over time we'll customize the reports to be what the board wants to see. I continue to have.
Randy, I'd like to thank you for that.
Oh, you're very welcome. And I welcome your input on what you'd like to see in what format, because we can customize this however we need to. And finally, the enrollment, I think, honestly, I just forwarded the enrollment report that I got from the data specialist because I didn't have time to do anything. And the enrollment, as you can see, went up 4 kids in the month. But, enrollment's a measure. Membership is what counts. So they have to be in the seat for a month to earn a month's worth of ADM. And again, board, it may not be in the May report because we're trying to get the budget put together and meet on the 6th of May, and we will. But I welcome your questions or concerns or input on what you'd like to see in the financial reporting, because we could certainly do that. They need to be intelligible and readable and clear and answering your questions on the operations. I would point out one of the struggles, cash struggles for the district, is funding grant programs. I mean, grants are absolutely necessary to do anything beyond what the general fund would do. But in my view, there are like 3 buckets of grants. You know, a local grant, you identify something you want to do, find a grantor, they say they'll pay for it, give you the money, you do what you said you were going to do, give them a report, problem solved. And so you're using their money. Federal grants are a little different in that you spend a lot more time at the front end. We know going in what are the parameters, allowable costs, all those things. So you take the federal grants, Title I, Title II, III, you accept the grant, but they all require you to expend your dollars and then get reimbursement. There's a prohibition against having federal dollars in your bank account for more than 72 hours. So, but if there's a hiccup in the reimbursement, obviously the district has advanced the money, kept people on the payroll, and so I'm developing a policy in the office to be more diligent about getting the payments in. And the third one is the state grants. There's frankly one of them that pays in advance or partially in advance. The rest of them, I guess in some regards, they're newer and they're more, what's the term, Dr. Bernal, particular? Interested in how in the outcomes, you know, measuring the outcomes directly related to the expenses. So we have incurred a fair amount of cost launching those grants, and I won't say struggle to get repaid, but there are many more hurdles to get repaid. And so those cash flow kind of delays end up being part of the district's overall problem in terms of low funding. Not to mention that the state could step up a little more and pay the general fund some more. So I think we'll have, and I don't want to, if there are questions, I certainly want to try to answer them, but I think there's room for much more of this kind of conversation at the Budget Committee meeting on the 6th. And my expectation is that we won't get done on the 6th, and we need at least the one more, probably only the one more. And I'm working on bringing some comparative things so we can see by function what we spend the money on rather than by fund. I think that's a little more informative where, you know, if you start comparing a budget, how come you spent this last year and now you're not? It's very likely we're doing the same thing, but it's over on a different page because now it's paid by a grant. But I'm trying to develop a presentation that will show you, for instance, how much we spend on behavior services, no matter who's paying for it. You know, how much of that, how much do we spend? How much of it's salary and benefits, and how many people are involved? Same with elementary instruction or high school, any of those. So there are, I don't even know how many functions there are, but there are a lot. And so I think well, you'll find out. If it's not helpful, then we'll do it a different way next year. But if you like, it's helpful to me, and it's helpful, I believe, to the public, so that they don't have to hunt through 300 pages to find out where somebody's being paid from. So, any questions from the board?
So I have one. The past chief financial officer for a board report would always have just a summary of things that were most important that she thought the board should be, you know, apprised of or that they see. And I really appreciated that. I like
Very good.
that. If you could do something like that, it would be.
Yeah, I'd be glad to.
Okay.
I mean, I really only had one thing on my mind for the last 3 or 4 weeks, but that was the most important thing. But I appreciate what you're saying. I think it's good to the board is maybe unaware of what are the pressing issues.
Yeah.
Yeah, I appreciate that, John.
Okay.
One other item I need to bring up to the board. We're pursuing a contract with a company called ESS West to employ and provide substitute employment services. We employed sort of their fledgling company before they've been bought out and beefed up their processes. We have a lot of absences that have to be covered with substitutes. Our substitute cost this year will be somewhere between $800,000 and $1 million. What this company does is they employ the people. They have their own health insurance plan, retirement plan. The plus for the employees is that they pay them every Friday instead of, because we unfortunately, or fortunately, you could work on the first of the month and you wouldn't get paid till the 20th of the following month. So we've had some experience with them. We had a very detailed phone, or you know what I mean, Zoom kind of conversation, said this is what was not liked before, and they assure me that that's not the way it is. And historically, it's a little bit hard to judge because we employed them pre-COVID, and then we've hired our own in the last number of years. And what they call the fill rate, how many absences and what percent of them get filled. You're not going to fill them all, but I expect the fill rate to go up so that we won't have specialists in the building that will have to cover classrooms and so much of that. So what they do, and then the burden is off of us in terms of doing up to 200 extra paychecks a month, and they stand the payroll costs and unemployment, and they award the sick leave, and they do the training, and they buy the software that people record their absences in. And one of the complaints before was that the onboarding process to get people enrolled was difficult. They now have, so if there are still people that are substitutes for us now that were back then, they will just reactivate them as employees and get a new W-9. And they've got a sort of, I've forgotten the term what they used, red carpet sort of onboarding for the people that work for us right now. And then they'll do recruiting to try to get to the sub pool to be bigger. And they will provide substitutes for everyone except bus drivers, because that requires special licensure, and administrators. We still have to cover our own admin, but they'll do the classified subs and the licensed subs. I think that's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
All right, thank you. Anyone got any questions? Jose?
Actually, Director Nelson beat me, but yeah, that summary is super helpful because it's always great to hear the happenings of both the facilities and transportation department. We don't have as much visibility, and just those snapshots and highlights are super helpful.
Happy to do it. I'll look back. I'm sure there's an example. Yeah.
And then looking ahead to our upcoming budget meetings, one of the things I've always found helpful in terms of when we're looking at our different buildings is a staff count, just to be able to see, what the staffing looks like, and then the variances kind of year to year. I know that sometimes it deserves context, right? Because you'll see variances up or down, and there's more, but I always appreciate that conversation to be able to see where our staffing levels are across the board.
As do I. I think it's a good comparator. I think you can look at buildings and or functions and say, we're going to put more bodies toward this job that needs to be done. Unfortunately, we'll do the best we can, but for whatever reason, we're now required to report total FTE, but not FTE by fund anymore. So some of the comparative data is going to be a swag. I mean, we know what it is right now, but if you don't capture it in the system what it was last year, it goes away. So I know what the total amount of FTE was, so we'll do our best to get the comparisons to work. And then going forward, I agree with you. I think that's a good analysis when you're looking at the budget in total. break it down and say, yeah, how come we're doing this? How come we got 2 more people there and 2 less librarians, for instance? You know, that kind of thing. Yeah, I appreciate that.
Anything else? Well, thank you. Next, we have the board attorney's report.
I don't have a presentation for the board tonight.
Okay. Next, we'll move on to first reading on school board policies. These are information only. Start with JBNAB/JHFE, suspected child abuse or suspected abuse of a child reporting requirements. The Oregon Department of Human Services reports the purpose of Senate Bill 231 was to align state law with the agency's current process of receiving child abuse reporting through a centralized child abuse reporting system established by DHS. Reports must be submitted to DHS as directed or to a law enforcement agency. You'll notice the new language in blue and the stricken language. Next, we have policy EBBB, injury or illness report. The State Board of Education adopted revisions to Oregon Administrative Rule OAR 581-022-2220 on health services. As a result of these changes, there's a list of policies and ARs which have been revised. Next, we have GBN-JBA, sexual harassment. House Bill 2280 modified the definition of sexual harassment affecting schools and has been followed up with new rule revisions. The revised definition changes the meaning of assault within the sexual harassment context and adds a section describing the meaning of without consent, which is also a new definition added to the law. Next, we have policy CG or GCDA/GDDA, criminal records check and fingerprinting. Newly revised rules regarding fingerprint collection offer the addition of statewide vendor identification by DAS as an authorized fingerprint collector and remove the option of volunteers to appeal to ODE on a fitness determination issued by ODE. The other resulting changes come from a decision to have a standalone board policy.
I did have a question on this. The first 5 pages has a variety of bracketed text, or do we already have recommendations for that, or will we see that at the second reading?
We're working on those right now, and we will get those to you so you have them ahead of the next meeting.
Okay.
Yep.
Thank you.
Next, we have, these are just information only. Policy JHFE/GBNABAR, reported of suspected abuse of a child and form. The Oregon Department of Human Services reports the purpose of Senate Bill 231 was to align state law with the agency current process for receiving child abuse reporting through the centralized child abuse system established by DHS. Reports must still be submitted to DHS as directed or to a law enforcement agency. Then we have GCDA, GDDAR, criminal records check and fingerprinting. That one is getting deleted. And newly revised rules regarding fingerprint collection offer additional statewide vendor identification by DAS as an authorized fingerprint collector and removed the option of volunteers to appeal to ODE on a fitness determination issued by ODE. The other resulting changes from the decision of standalone board is to have a decision to have a standalone board policy. To clean up duplicate language, a new version of model policy GCDA, GDDA, criminal records check, and fingerprinting has been developed and eliminates the need for an administrative regulation. Next up, we have comments from the audience about agenda and non-agenda items. The board will accept public comments for the April 25th, 2024 meeting. The board is committed to the public comment process and will consider all public comments seriously. Public comments for virtual meetings will continue to follow school board policy BDDH, public participation in board meetings. Anyone wishing to sign up to speak during the public comment section of the agenda shall follow board policy BDDH, public participation in board meetings, which states, a person speaking during the designated portion of the agenda for public comment may offer objective criticism of district operations and programs. The board will not hear comments regarding any individual district staff member. The board chair will direct the visitor to the procedure and policy KL, complaints for consideration of legitimate complaint involving a staff member. Accommodation involving a staff member should be sent to the superintendent, who will forward it to the employee, a supervisor, and the board. To sign up for speaking at the meeting, sign-ups forms are available for those wishing to speak to the board in person. Comments will follow district policy with up to 3 minutes allotted per person to speak. Written comments can be emailed to publiccomments@northwasco.k12.or.us. The deadline for those written comments is Wednesday by 4 p.m. before the board meeting. Public comments submitted after the deadline will be included in the next regular board meeting agenda. Public comments via Zoom webinar. For those wishing to make a public comment virtually, please send an email to Cindy Miller at publiccomments@northwasco.k12.or.us no later than Wednesday, the day before the board meeting, no later than 4 p.m. With your name, screen name, and phone number you will be joining the meeting with, you will receive a link to join the meeting and will be placed in a waiting room until your name is called. Comments are limited to 3 minutes. The board sincerely appreciates your input and thanks you for your participation. So first up, we have Jennifer Dewey.
So I actually signed up just so if I had questions, I could ask. I didn't have anything in there. But I came to the meeting and I didn't really know exactly what was proposed to the teachers, but I wanted to come in here. And my understanding is that they were asked to, that you're looking at pay cuts for teachers. But what I wanted to say was when you were going through the things that you were doing before, I would hope that one of the things that you're looking at is administrative costs, because I do believe that there's probably a lot of fat in there, and I think the first thing that we need to do is look at cutting that. And when you add people on, you're not just adding an hourly wage. You're adding workman's comp, you're adding benefits, and you're adding taxes that you have to pay for employment. And I don't know what's covered by the grants or not, but I would assume it's not all covered by the grants. So that's probably some additional charges that you can look at. The other thing that I was going to ask is when we were talking about the buses, are these buses that you voted to add, are they in replacement of 3 or are they in addition? Replacement, okay. Okay, yeah. Well, I was just curious on that. And then there was one other question I had. Oh, no, I think I covered it actually. But anyway, the main thing that I wanted to do was see if when you guys are doing the other portion that I wanted to, John, was when you're asking for a summary on there. My only caution from being in a position where I used to look at financial statements and go through all the stuff in there, when you look at a summary, it's very easy to look at, to have it just show the average balance and not the negatives and the pluses. So I would encourage you to not look at a summary and to actually look at each account that's in that one. But the way I used to do it for my own stuff would be to run a rolling balance of a couple of months, and then you could see a percentage, and if it jumps up, then you know where to look.
We will be getting that as well. He was asking just to see the important items that were taking money away and wanting to see why, and so that we kind of have an idea.
So it's not just a summary of the balance?
No, we will get a full financial statement.
Okay.
And my request is that it has details so that I'm not looking at just a month-to-month rollover.
Okay, I thought you were talking to do a summary of the top three.
No,
So
just kind of for their
that was
benefit.
my only comment on there.
Yeah,
So.
for their benefit to get an understanding of what's going, what's coming, big ticket items rather than the day-to-day, month-to-month.
Okay.
Thank you.
Mainly, the main thing that I wanted to emphasize is look at the administration, because I think that before you cut the people that are at the base and the front of everything else needs to be trimmed down to as low as possible as it can be. Because they do a lot of work, and they do a lot of work that needs support. And if you're not feeling supported, it's really hard to go in and do your best, and we require them to do our best for the kids every day. And I know you guys do too, so that would be my only voice on that. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Okay, next up, we have Wesley Mitchell.
I don't have anything prepared. It was a last minute decision, but I already told the union this, and I just felt like I wanted to address you directly and be very transparent. When my family moved here in '97, my mother's house was purchased for $67,000. And it's different. And I'm going to be turning 30 this summer, and it's a difficult situation. I feel like I'm at that age where I'm ready to put down roots and purchase a home and things like that. And, you know, when I got out of college in 2016 in undergrad, I chose to work here. I had 4 other districts give me offers. And I do continue to want to work here, and I continue to choose our district. I like being a part of this community, but it's running into a sticky situation with the cost of living in the gorge, and being a young person and trying to establish a life here based on factors that I'm sure you're aware of. So I just wanted to tell them behind me and tell you in front of me. So thank you.
All right, thank you. Okay, that was the last one. I want to thank everyone for coming tonight and hanging out with us. And with that, we'll adjourn this meeting.